the land of the rising sun, where cutting-edge technology harmonizes with an awe-inspiring culture, a tale unfolds that contrasts the surface's gleam. From an outsider's perspective, its allure is undeniable. A realm of advanced robotics, an unparalleled safety record, a thriving economy, and a captivating heritage. Yet, like a meticulously crafted masterpiece, this portrait of perfection hides within its brushstrokes a tale of shadows and secrets that only a few have glimpsed. Beyond the facade lies a narrative often overlooked, a hidden chapter etched in the struggles of a generation forsaken by society, the lost generation. Although Japan's remarkable achievements may take center stage, this segment of its population, nearly 15% strong, has been consigned to the fringes of the country's prosperity, a somber embodiment of its fall from grace and an unsettling harbinger of its future. While the world was fixated on Japan's rise in the 1980s, prophesying its ascent as an economic juggernaut destined to eclipse even the United States, a subtle trepidation underscored these grand predictions. Amidst headlines projecting an economic Pearl Harbor and movies envisioning Japanese corporations conquering the globe, a deep-seated anxiety took root. The fulcrum of this optimism was the Japanese miracle, a 30-year span of uninterrupted economic growth, fueled by an innovative economic structure. This structure revolved around corporate cartels known as keiretsu, formidable alliances of Japan's largest corporations. These entities, intertwined through share ownership, collaborated in unprecedented harmony. Bolstered by strategic government loans channeled through the state-owned National Bank of Japan, the keiretsu enjoyed an inexhaustible reservoir of funds to fuel their global expansion. Simultaneously, foreign corporations faced barriers to entry in Japan's domestic market. It was a paradoxically effective system, although not without its drawbacks. The bubble of prosperity, however, was destined to burst. By 1991, the country had soared to become the world's second-largest economy, trailing only the United States. Real estate prices and stock market values ballooned to surreal heights, propped up by speculative fervor. As the 1980s concluded, the feverish ascent transformed into a speculative mania, with confidence soaring that the boom would be eternal. Yet, the fateful day arrived when the bubble ruptured, sending shockwaves through the nation. Throughout 1990, the stock market plummeted by a staggering 43%, and real estate prices followed suit, collapsing under their own weight. The bursting bubble resulted in a grim reality: diminished spending power for the masses and reluctance among investors to support Japanese corporations. This marked the ignominious end of the economic euphoria, revealing deep-seated corruption, rampant insider trading, stock manipulation, and fraud that had been camouflaged amidst the affluence. The deluge of loans, intended to sustain the economy, instead propped up zombie companies, businesses artificially sustained by borrowed capital. Japan's metamorphosis from an economic tiger riding the crest of the Japanese miracle to the sick man of Asia was a pivotal moment in its history. Yet, the trajectory wasn't altogether unique. Nations experienced cycles of economic highs and lows. Japan, however, faced a distinctive twist. Unlike other economies, the repercussions of this downturn were cataclysmic for an entire generation. Central to understanding this socio-economic transformation is the Japanese approach to work and hiring. Characterized by an intense culture of employment, graduates navigated the intricate ritual of shushoku katsudo, a complex job-seeking endeavor. The process culminated in mass hiring events, during which companies like the keiretsu cherry-picked fresh graduates for lifetime employment. This commitment to long-term association, coupled with internal promotions, fostered stability while inadvertently constructing an inflexible job market. As the bubble burst, companies froze their hiring practices, leaving the 1990s graduates in the cold. These individuals, the lost generation, bore the brunt of Japan's economic descent, finding themselves caught in a cycle of temporary, low-paying jobs. This era became the employment ice age, casting a pall over aspirations and hope. The cycle persisted into the 2000s and 2010, bestowing upon the nation a poignant epithet: the lost decades. The implications extended beyond individual misfortunes, manifesting as a collective dent in Japan's economic machinery. This age bracket, essential for bolstering the housing market, family expenditures, and overall economic dynamism, withered. As a result, Japan confronted the challenges of super-aging, where an aging population far exceeded the young. Furthermore, the emergence of hikikomori, individuals who, unable to meet societal expectations, withdrew from society, cast another shadow on Japan's societal tapestry. This phenomenon originated in the 1990s with the first lost generation. Men in their 30s and 40s, unable to secure a foothold in a ruthless job market, chose self-imposed isolation over societal pressures. While the movement began with this original generation, it expanded to encompass younger individuals as well, with nearly 1 million individuals affected. The implications rippled through society, elevating hikikomori from an individual struggle to a societal concern. Recognizing the gravity of these challenges, Japan's government embarked on initiatives to reintegrate the lost generation. Unfortunately, progress was thwarted by a stagnant economy and deeply ingrained work culture. The rigid structures of companies, still promoting only from within and offering limited hiring windows, hampered efforts to provide second chances. Consequently, the cycle persisted, ensnaring more young individuals in its unforgiving grip. The response by the Liberal Democratic Party, which has dominated post-war Japan, is blamed for worsening things with policies focused on sustaining corporate profits. In the process, the full-time workforce was trimmed, and short-term jobs with reduced or no benefits have increased. A period of job market paralysis, known as the employment ice age, ensued. Middle-class incomes fell, marriage and birth rates declined, and the percentage of single-person households rose. The isolated Japanese often have nowhere to turn. Despite recent improvements, mental health services in Japan remain inadequate and often expensive. Psychological counseling remains unpopular in a country where cultural principles like gaemon, Japan's version of Britain's stiff upper lip, stigmatize seeking help as shameful. Domestic media typically frame those of the lost generation not as victims but as self-absorbed ingrates. In the poignant narrative of Japan's lost generation, a poignant dichotomy emerges. Amidst the veneer of technological marvels and economic glories, the resilience of a generation forced into the shadows underscores a society grappling with its past, wrestling with its present, and uncertain about its future. As Japan navigates the complex terrain of its destiny, the tales of the lost generation stand as a poignant reminder that beneath the gloss of success lies an enduring struggle, shaping nations in ways unseen and immeasurable.